Hello Teacher Sean friends and fans, welcome back to yet another educational English video. I'm your new dad. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different from what we normally do. Usually on this channel we do vocabulary videos, we do some grammar videos, we do like how to study videos, and we also watch a bunch of stuff and see what we could pick out to learn from. Like we look at memes or we look at TV shows. But today I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. You see, on YouTube, there's all sorts of different education to be found. And English education is just a tiny little piece of that pie. So what I want to do is look at some of these gurus, these guys that are really famous on YouTube for teaching English. And I want to see how sound their practices are. You see, because you have a lot of channels where they throw a lot of big words at you, things you wouldn't understand, to where you're going to look at them and say, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Okay. But do they really know what they're talking about? So today, we're going to be taking a look at some of these English teaching gurus that are here on YouTube and see how practical or how good their advice actually is. Before we jump into today's video, let me quickly say thank you to my Patreon member of the month. That's Mr. Pooh. Thank you so much, dude. Without guys like Pooh here on this channel, we wouldn't be able to make the high quality content that we make. And the more people that sign up for Patreon, the better content I can create. As well as I could teach you English a lot more, YouTube's a very one-way road, and a lot of people message me like, hey, can you teach me English? Can you teach me English? Will you be my teacher? Patreon's the route that you want to take if you want that kind of, teacher-student relationship. Otherwise, just subscribe, like, and comment down below, and I'll just be your new dad instead. Also, check out the Discord. We have a lot of fun over there. A lot of people from all over the world that are learning English, talking to each other on a daily basis, having a great time. But now, let's learn some English. So today we're checking out this guy. I'm looking over here at my computer. I got my computer out. We're going to be watching a video together. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. We're going to be watching a video together and having a good time talking about it as we go through. So today we're watching this guy, James ESL English Lessons, in parentheses, Ingvid. That's a super long name. But this guy has like 2.5 million subscribers compared to my like tiny 6,000 subscribers. This guy is a guru. He knows everything there is to be known about learning English. And we're going to take a look and see how good at this he actually is. Now, a little fair warning, I'm a bit biased because I really like this guy's channel and he's a big motivator for me. Sometimes when I don't know certain things, and I'm actually in the classroom, I'll check his videos out to make sure that I'm teaching things correctly. I'm a visual learner, which is why I do the YouTube thing, because I learn from watching, not so much from reading. I do love to read, as you can see my bookshelf, but I don't necessarily you're not going to find a lot of nonfiction over there. A lot of my nonfiction stuff comes from YouTube. But so let's see what he has to say. I like this guy. I think he's a pretty sound dude. But let's take a look at one of his lessons.
The prosperity plan. It's empty. Why? Well, hi, James from Ingvid. I have a book and it says prosperity plan. I know you're here to learn English. This is a book full of secrets on how to make millions of dollars. Empty. That's because when people tell you there's a secret, there's not really a secret. There's a method behind something, and you may not know it, so to you it's a secret. But, just like that book, there are no secrets. The only one.
So first off, I want to talk about how slowly he speaks. That is amazing. I know you guys, a lot of you guys say that I'm very understandable. But I really wish I could slow my voice down to that speed because I feel like he is just speaking at the perfect level. And one of the things he just said right there, which I really do like, is that there is no secret to success. There are methods to success.
Let's look at the 3 methods I have for you today in order to learn English, okay? The Kaizen Method, the Process Method, and the Writing Method are actually books I read on something completely different. But what I found was they were very handy for learning English.
So That's one thing that I kind of do like about him. A lot of these YouTubers will throw out these scientific terms and expect you just to know what they are, like Kaizen Method, process method, as if they're well-established things. And he's going to quickly admit, like, no, this isn't something that actually exists, but this is something from outside that I can apply to what I'm teaching or what I'm learning.
Most of the times people are learning a language. They want to, and this is what the process method is about. People start with product. Product. What is a product? A product is something you can touch or hold. This marker is a product. But this isn't how the marker started. I'm sorry. Okay, the marker started a little differently. I mean, that's an alcohol base that I'm sniffing. When I go, there's alcohol, there's liquid in here. This is plastic, came from oil. So when I'm telling you all these things, you're going, why are you telling me? Well, things start in a certain way, but they end up like this. In fact, you can think of the process method versus product being a tree and being a seed. And a seed, little thing you put in the ground and it grows into a tree. Well, when you have a seed, the seed has no idea that it's going to be a tree and a big tree, how long it will take. But humans are funny. They want to start a language and they think right away, I'm going to learn English. And then they sit down, they open the book. They open the book. I'm going to learn English. I'm learning English. I'm learning English. And then they get upset 1 hour later. I don't know any English. I don't speak English. Well, it's like being a human. You start as a baby, you grow to an adult.
Real fast, that's a really good comparison, and I experience that a lot where my students, usually my students' parents, not so much my students because it's the parents that are spending the money, but they'll get really frustrated after a couple weeks that their kid's not like fluent in English, as if that's a possible thing, yet these people remarkably don't even speak English. They're complaining to the company like, my kid needs to know English now! And I was like, well, that's just not how it works.
When we talk about the process method, what you want to do is don't think about you want to speak English. Yes, I know that's why you're watching this video and why you're studying. Think more about what you're doing while you're studying English. And this is called the process. Go into the step, concentrate on what you're doing. You'll find a couple of things happen. Sometimes you'll say English is hard or it's boring. If you do this method, you'll actually stop finding it hard or boring.
English is never boring when you learn with me. So, James ESL, shame on you for saying that. You should say, English is boring unless you learn with Teacher Sean.
And you'll enjoy it because you'll be working on something specific, mastering that, and then you're going to start noticing that the final product, English, is coming to you, and it will come faster than you think. Why? Well, if you're thinking, oh, I don't understand this English, you're focusing really on you don't understand English or you don't know English. You're not focusing on what you're...
I said this in a few videos back where if you focus on your mistakes, then you're going to be discouraged and you're not going to want to improve. And that's one of the, I think I said that in the common mistakes video.
Time to actually go back when you're thinking about it's hard, it's difficult or boring, and say to yourself, what am I doing now? And then look at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a vanilla thing to say about anything. Like, you just take your time, take a breath, and you'll be able to refocus your energy, refocus your chi. But I don't know, man. I don't think that you have to be all that focused. I mean, if you're just trying to improve, it really depends on what you're doing. I mean, I think Ingvid, the company he works for, they teach tests, and so things are a little bit more strict with them. But I'd suggest just having fun.
Each time you do that, you get further in the process, and you'll end up with a product before you know it. Okay? Sounds simple, but try it. You can even do this on a date. That's another story. Okay, so we do this. We got the...
Uh-oh, James ESL is getting, it's gonna get you guys laid.
Most people, when they're learning something, they want to learn something, some vocabulary. Then they go into lexical chunks. Lexical chunks is just a fancy term for words that go together.
Once again, I mean, he's explaining it. I really don't like when the gurus use these big terms that people don't understand. I mean, even as a writer, I try to write at a level where everybody can understand. And I do have colleagues who just write the biggest, fanciest words they possibly can. And it's like, what's the point if you have to second guess what the word means?
But you just need to learn one word. In the Kaizen method, they would say you just need to know one letter. They would say start with A and know that it can be ah, or T and it could be T. Because if you cannot pronounce those things properly, how can you say the word properly?
I mean, that makes sense. I know with a lot of different regions, they have certain phonetic mistakes that they make. So what this Kaizen method is saying is, really learn the basics on how to say things before you learn how to say everything.
This doesn't occur to most people. They want to learn all the English. That's the problem. Remember the product? We go back to here, right? Well, to get in this process, an easier way to do it is the Kaizen method. Pick one subject, pick one thing, break it down to the smallest unit you can do, and focus on just that.
So he's suggesting doing this like very minusculely, learning each little thing one step at a time. Now, that's an all right idea as long as you're mixing it up with other things, right? Because if you're only learning things one tiny little fraction of a bit of a time, well, you're never really going to learn. You're going to be on this learning path forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and not making a lot of progress because you're only doing so little. However, mix it up with other things. Like in my classroom, we'll teach all sorts of things at the same time, but little doses. Like we'll be learning, sentence structure, we'll be learning grammar, we'll be learning phonics, all at the same time, of course, weaved together to where eventually, within a year, 2 years, the kids I'm teaching kids in the classroom, are quite, have made a lot of progress where they can speak and read and do things. They might not be fluent in English. They might have a lot of, I don't know that word in English moments, but that's one step at a time, right? As they go on and on. So this idea of only doing just a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily agree with unless you're doing it for everything. So unless you're doing this Kaizen method with many different other methods at the same time, which is kind of like he said with the process method and the writing method, I would suggest maybe adding more to it. Don't just settle for the bare minimum. As my father would always say, never settle for the bare minimum.
Okay? Then you take the next step, and then the next one. My favorite story from the Kaizen method is a person who wanted to work out, and they said, working out is so hard, it's so difficult. So what the trainer said was simple. They said, you know what, tomorrow morning, don't work out. The customer was like, why? Are you crazy? He said, no, don't. Just stand up for 30 seconds. That's it. And the client was, well, anybody could do that. He said, yeah, that's your first step. Eventually, they built up until they were doing a 30-minute workout, and they were enjoying it because they took steps that were so easy that it didn't stop them. The reason why I explain this method, is generally, if something is too difficult, we get what's called a stress reaction. Stress is when you're afraid, and your body doesn't work as efficiently or effectively, so it makes things harder. By doing the Kaizen method, you relax, and your brain can do its best work. We call it optimal work, which means it works in its best way. Optimize or optimal means the best, okay? And that's what you can do with the Kaizen method. Slow yourself down so you can work your best, okay? Now you're looking here.
I get what he's saying. I do. And I think he's got great points. I know most people don't want to learn slowly, and I don't think you have to learn super slowly. All right, we're gonna stop the video here. His video there. I'm gonna definitely say James ESL English lessons in parentheses Ingvid with a little checkup because he's got a lot of subscribers. He's got a big peepee. He gave really good information. I think his content is pretty spot on. Is his content great? Absolutely. Did he make a lot of sense? 100%. Do I agree with everything he had to say? No, but every teacher is going to have their own methods, their own ideas, their own philosophy behind it. The guy is highly educated, so I'm sure his methods might be better than mine. Maybe I shouldn't express that on YouTube. But hey, call a spade a spade. The dude's a very intelligent guy. He's a very good teacher. His videos are fantastic. I don't know if I could sit down and watch all of those every single week, but I mean, that's up to you guys. Is he a guru? For sure. So we give him a 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up, pop, 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 pop. And yeah, all right. Well, now for some affirmation. So if you guys like what you saw today, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys like more content like this, let me know. I would like to do more content like this in the future. If you have any YouTube teachers you'd like me to look at, feel free to let me know. And yeah, overall, great job today, guys. I love you. I'll see you next time.